here on WCRS. We try harder because we will never give up. We will never surrender. Whoop, whoop. That's right. We will never surrender. Let me get appropriately in my seat here this morning and let me take a sip of my tea. What did Jackie Gleason used to say? How sweet it is. How sweet it is. So how you doing this morning? It is Monday. Yes, it is January 12th. And in less than... Do you realize all that's happened and it's just January 12th? I mean, Maduro, they went in, plucked out Maduro out of Venezuela, brought him back, slammed him in a jail with his wife, have put him forth with charges, which of course he has denied. And let's see, we've had riots in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We've had a person killed by an ICE agent. Big question that still remains. Was it a justified shoot? Was it not a justified shoot? They keep releasing all these different angles and everything. You got people out in Portland, Oregon. They're rioting. People are just going crazy. And, of course, then Friday afternoon, President Trump said, oil, there's oil in those hills down there in Venezuela. We need to go get the oil. And now he's decided, Exxon, you will not get any of the oil out of Venezuela. You didn't make positive comments, so you're out. And now... what's his name, is being investigated by the Fed. Oh my God, not by the Fed. The Fed is being investigated. Yep, so, for, problems in the costs of the building, the building that they were doing. So, we got a lot going on. Iran is at big unrest, and, President Trump says, more power to you. More power to you. Will they be able to overthrow the government? Trump has issued a warning to the Ayatollah. Sit down and shut up, basically, is what he said. I don't know. Cuba, they vowed Cuba will not have any oil or money coming from Venezuela, so I guess Cuba might as well give up. Greenland is still in flux, still in play. What's happening there? And those are the international events, basically. Well, we did have national with Minneapolis and Oregon, and they just said they are going to be sending more ICE agents, to Minneapolis. So this is something, it is, in my opinion, it is sad that here we have the potential for so much greatness, and yet we are in a situation where there is so much angst and everything going everywhere. And then, of course, down they did have the event for life, big but well-attended event down in, I don't actually know where it was. I know that it was a big event. It seems like all the politicians and everything were there. And on top of that, I found this story most interesting. I think this is going to give Alan Wilson a big boost, who he chose for his running mate, the lieutenant governor. He picked Senator Mike Reichenbach as his running mate, becoming the first of 7 candidates for governor to complete his campaign ticket. What do you think about that? I think that this is a huge positive pick for him. I had, in the last few months, been doing some research on Rettenbach just because I found his story so impactful and so interesting. He was born of a 14-year-old mother who gave him up for adoption. He was adopted by, I believe, a white couple. He is black. And he owns several, at least two, car agencies, car dealership owner. He was first elected to the Senate in 2022 to fill the unexpired term of the late finance chairman Hugh Leatherman following his death at age 90. He campaigned as a political outsider for the seat Leatherman held for 41 years. He's still been in elected office less than any of the Republicans running for governor. And, of course, so this is a big win, I think, for Alan Wilson. While his announcement is the first for the race, it's been in the works for months. Rockenbach told the South Carolina Daily Gazette that Wilson approached him last summer about joining his ticket. He didn't specify when, but that means it was early into Wilson's own campaign, which he officially launched last June. And which I might remind you, it's not till March that they can actually sign the papers to have declared. But we got a whole field that's been running since June, July of last year. So he said that he was honored but needed to think about it back when he was approached back in June. He eventually decided his experiences, particularly as a business owner, could help South Carolinians. Notice the similarities here between Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette, who was chosen because of her business experience by McMaster. So, there you go. Some of the things that I think will be very interesting, The lieutenant governor's job is considered part-time. The job duties are largely whatever the person in the governor's office decides. Well, that is true. I do know Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette made it a full-time job, or the governor made it a full-time job, however you want to say it. Pamela certainly has boosted her appeal and her exposure through the lieutenant governor's office. She has done, in my opinion, a great job as the lieutenant governor, brings a lot to the table. But this is a most interesting pick for Alan Wilson. Certainly will give him a lot of creds and a lot of balance when people start talking about what he brings to the table, So anyways, just thought I would bring you up to speed on that. Now I'm going to be very interested who Pamela's going to pick, because I haven't really heard anything. And will she go ahead and force her hand, shall we say, and say, this is who I'm picking, or will she still hold off? Hopefully, she is supposed to, unless something comes up, she is supposed to be on with us on Thursday. So that is, to me, about, I think, that is the biggest positive political news that I've heard in a while. On the other hand, we have had a teen was shot right here in Greenwood County Saturday. Was that Saturday night? Yes, I think that was. That is just a horrible case that we have going on here. So that was over on Reynolds Street, which is, of course, right over here, very close to the college, but it is not a lot of details are available at this moment. But this did happen. It was a shooting at a residence. I've read a lot of the social media stuff on it. It's not really clear what was happening. Was he just a bystander there? How did this come together? Greenwood County Coroner's Office is investigating the death of 17-year-old Zayden Goodman, who died early Sunday at Self Regional Healthcare following a shooting late Saturday night. Authorities said Goodman was involved in a shooting at approximately 11:20 p.m. January 10th. That would have been Saturday night, at a residence on Reynolds Avenue. The Greenwood County Coroner's Office, the Greenwood County Sheriff's Office, and the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division are jointly investigating the incident. No additional details were immediately available. So, that is another shooting right here in our area. You know, we had the one over on Hall Street. Now this one, has there been anything else? While they're saying that crime is down overall across the state and down here in Greenwood County, this does not portend well. This does not portend well. I'll just say that. 2 deaths in less than 10 days right here in Greenwood County, and both of them through gunshot wounds. So we'll have to see where this goes. And all the while, the monks are on their peace walk. The Buddhist monks are on their peace walk. They were I guess they arrived in Colombia yesterday. I'm not sure whether the monks get the most or does their dog get the most attention on this. So that's a little bit of a roundup as we round up and go forth here this morning. I hope that you are doing well. We are live on Facebook. I'd love for you to say good morning right there on our Facebook page. Just to let you know that, let me know that you know that I'm here. All right. You can also call or text 864-332-9355. That's 864-332-9355. Love to hear from you. Love to hear from you. So, what else have we got here? We had a winner on Saturday morning. That's right. We gave away a Chick-fil-A, was a coupon, a card for either nuggets or a sandwich, a Chick-fil-A sandwich. And Thomas Warren, he was our winner. That's right. Woohoo! Congratulations, Thomas. You were our winner. All you had to do was say, enter me to win. And he did. And we had a lot of people did. So Saturday mornings, I always like that because it's a nice, easy show. We do classic country and blues. So it was a good show. And we had an extra bonus because we had a giveaway. All right. So write this number down. Put it in your phone, 864-332-9355. What's good about this, you can just call the number, leave a message, and it will be turned into a text. So there you go. Let's see. We've had, yes, it's very, very sad. One of our listeners, very, very sad that we've had another death, particularly a young person, 17 years old. Our hearts go out to his family. So we also have some other things to be talking about here. So let's get started. Whew. What'd you do this weekend? Well, Penny learned a new trick. Drop it. I'm not sure she's actually learned it. She's learned that if she brings something and drops it in front of your feet, that she gets a treat. So she tries to anticipate. That's one thing about Penny. She's always trying to anticipate how to get the treat. So sometimes she just goes and picks up a toy because this is what we're working on. It's going to be more complicated when we get to more complicated items. But right now, she gets her toy and she drops it. And therefore, she gets a treat. She's tried to outwit me by dropping it before I even say the word. And I have to explain, no, I have to say the word. The word is drop it. So, but she is so smart and she loves games. Oh my God, she loves games. So weather was nice on, kind of nice on Saturday. Yesterday was very chilly. so we are, AI decided to talk. Okay. Right now it was 28 degrees when I got up here this morning. It is now warming up to 32 degrees. Feels like 32. We are headed for a high today of 51. Sunny to partly cloudy, high of 51. Tonight we are looking for some clouds this evening. Will give way to mainly clear skies overnight, a low of 27. Low of 27. Now that is for today. So tomorrow, though, we're going to get... This is what we live in South Carolina. Tomorrow we get up to 61 degrees, mainly sunny skies, a low of 41. Wednesday, a high of 59, low of 34. Thursday, a high of 41. And right back down to a low of 22. This is how people get sick. You gotta wear a coat and no flip-flops, please. No flip-flops. Anyways, Friday. Friday is a high of 48, a low of 36. Saturday, high of 54, low of 30. Don't really see much chance of any rain until, maybe next Sunday. So, but we're going to be in the cold zone all next week. It's going to be very, very cold. We are going to be down into the 26s, 24s, cold at night. So be prepared. Make sure that you have your pipes or whatever wrapped, covered so that they do not freeze. And if you have an exposed pipe, remember, it's always a good idea to leave the water just kind of dripping in your inside so that running water does not freeze. Also, don't forget about your pets out there. It's cold. If it's cold out there for you, it's cold for them. And when they have to stay out there perpetually, it gets really cold. Make sure you have a place where they can get out of the cold. All right. So that's the weather report. Now I wanted to share a quote of the day. You can kind of take this as you want. Lady Gaga. You know, she is really somebody. I mean, you'll hear a lot about her and then you won't hear much, but she is constantly evolving, I guess would be the word to say. She is evolving. Quote of the day by Lady Gaga. Do not allow people to dim your sunshine because they are blinded. Tell them to put some sunglasses on. I like that. Do not allow people to dim your shine because they are blinded. Tell them to put some sunglasses on. You know, I think sometimes we get so intimidated by people that we conform and we don't actually beat to our own drummer. You know, it's just like the poem by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a single wood, and sorry I could not be a traveler and travel both. Well, I butchered it, but the idea is that we have to make choices in life, but we certainly should not let people dim our spirit. That is the bottom line to me. And you should surround yourself with people that are positive, outgoing, that make you feel good. The more downer people you're around, the more downer you become. So therefore, I'm for the positive people in this world. Come on and join in our corner over here on WCRS Radio. All right, so here we are. We've got some other topics here to talk about this morning. And what are they, Ann? Well, let's see. What do I want to talk about here this morning? Not that one. Not that one. Oh, where is it? Oh, yes. We did Harry Chapin the other day, John Prine, and Don Williams. Talk about good storytellers. Those were good storytellers. Well, we can start talking about some politics and whatnot, but I think you might find this story interesting. This year I have vowed to talk about other things other than the mundane. And this is our educational portion of the show today. Did you know that crocodilians yes, that's the official term, which include both alligators and crocodiles, are already a little scary, but prehistoric crocs were something else entirely. At the turn of the 21st century, a team led by a group of paleontologists made a massive discovery, and we mean that literally. In the Sahara Desert, they dug up half the skeleton of a Saracotius imperator, a prehistoric crocodile. The full specimen would have measured 40 feet long and weighed 8 tons. They nicknamed their find Super Croc and went on to discover the remains of 4 additional members of this species, all from around 110 million years ago. When S. imperator was first identified based on a partial skull in 1964, it unleashed a great flurry of information about these giant creatures. The tooth pattern was designed to take down some seriously big prey. Their diet included large dinosaurs, perhaps even 20 feet long dinosaurs. Their eyes and noses were located on top of their heads, implying that they would sink into rivers and lie in wait before ambushing their prey. So, they could keep on growing, and some crocodiles were 50 to 60 years old. These giant river dwellers highlight how different the world looked in the early Cretaceous period. So, it was the Sahara back in the day was a tropical forest with large rivers, enough for multiple super crocs to lurk in. So it says, luckily to the dinosaurs of the period, the predators' large bodies meant they couldn't travel very fast once they left the water. So what do you think of that? World's largest, length in feet of the world's largest known captive crocodiles, 20. What age of Mr. Freshie, one of the world's oldest crocs, 140 years old. Now that is a old crocodile. So I thought you might like to know that crocodiles could take down dinosaurs. That is another piece of very useless information, but one that I thought that you might find interesting. So we've got, what do you think is going to happen here? We've got Minneapolis, Minnesota, still on edge there. We've got growing riots across our country. They even had a peaceful walk down there or a peaceful protest down there at the courthouse, or the courthouse down there in Columbia. And of course, tomorrow, all our legislators will be back in session. Last week, we had Senator Billy Garrett on Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday afternoon, we had John McCravey. Of course, John McCravey is a representative for this area. Billy Garrett is the senator for our area. So it was very interesting, very eye-opening. I think it has focused me on some of the things to be watching that will be happening this session. If you'd like to go back and watch those, you certainly can. You can watch them on Facebook, or you can go to our website, WCRS1450am.net. So make sure you check those out. One of the things that is... One of the things that has happened, the job market, we thought was going to be so amazing. And actually, the job market isn't so amazing, even though, what did they add, 50,000 jobs? 50,000 jobs. That was pretty cool. So that is one topic I want to talk about is the job market. But, we'll talk about that one first. Job seekers find a new source. This is very interesting. Training of income, training AI to do their old roles. A lot of people are training AI to learn how to do the job that a person does. So, we're going to eventually do ourselves out of jobs. But right now, the money is very, very good. And of course, that means that as our economy keeps upscaling, meaning we used to think that this would be a good way to that what jobs would AI do? What jobs would we do? It looks like AI is going to be taking over some jobs. But in the meantime, people are learning how to teach AI to do these jobs. I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised. There's not going to be unions out there protesting the fact of AI being able to do jobs. This is a story that's in the Wall Street Journal, and I thought that it was worthy of conversation. And let's see, this is out there in California's hottest startups is hiring like crazy. The catch, you have to be willing to train artificial intelligence to one day do your job as well as you can. And it says, welcome to the next gig economy. Instead of driving for Uber or delivering Postmates, a new wave of workers is signing up to school AI. These white-collar contractors review the output of the large language models that power chatbots and other AI tools. And it says not just anyone can work for Mercor, an AI startup valued at $10 billion. That's a startup now, $10 billion. Applicants have to demonstrate their abilities in an interview process, and you might work on the same project for weeks or even months. The list of subject area expert seeks includes astronomers, psychologists, look out folks, you may be talking to AI to solve your problems, industrial engineers, filmmakers, creative writers, comedians, legal experts. How do you teach AI to be funny? That, I think, could be very, very interesting if you're talking about creative writers and comedians. Legal experts, yeah, when you have a research assistant and you say, I need you to go find everything you can about this. This is a job that used to take, number one, a lot of knowledge of the legal system to know how to find these things and everything. Now they're going to be training, I guess, AI to do it. And so a legal assistant's job will just be poof, because we will front load all the information that allows AI to learn it. The funny thing is, I think this is rather funny. Having had the opportunity to speak to some young people over the Christmas holidays, how suspicious they are of AI. Now, see, I thought they would just go, oh, this is great. I can write a term paper. I can do this. Some of those, particularly those that are into writing, do not like AI as much, which I find interesting. I find that working with AI is fine as long as you at least have some information of your own. Because I don't know how many times I've caught AI taking me down a rabbit hole that I knew that the information that they were feeding me wasn't quite right. And when I catch them in it, they go, oh, good catch, Anne. So I think it's a tool. I think it has to be used judiciously. But and it certainly can save me time when I'm trying to find out some quick information. But I don't consider it the end-all source, and I think that's where we could go wrong. But anyways, they're using comedians, filmmakers, legal experts, investment bankers, and venture capitalists. Let me ask you something. How do you feel about a investment banker sitting there going, I think that you should buy this. It would be a good investment for you. And you go, who are you? Where's Joe? I have taken his job. I can do a better job for you. Yeah, I think some of this is pretty scary. Although, maybe they can analyze more information and get a better idea. Okay. So anyways, it says a dermatologist can make as much as $250 an hour helping a healthcare partner developing its decision support tools. Poets who enhance AI's understanding of poetic structure, literary nuance, and emotional expression can earn as much as $150 an hour. How do you teach AI to have some of the capabilities that humans have? The ability to feel. How do you teach AI that? This new startup company, Mercor, hired over 30,000 contractors in 2025 to work on projects for some of the largest AI companies. Clients have included OpenAI and Anthropic, I'm not sure who that is, economic uncertainty, tariffs, and a wait-and-see approach regarding the extent to which AI can handle tasks have all contributed to a growing unemployment rate, which in November hit the highest level in 4 years. White-collar workers are finding themselves applying to hundreds of jobs, for many that now include gigs with Mercor, which means you are training somebody to be able to take over your job. People also can earn $250 referral bonus by getting others to sign up with Mercor. So, and you have to have an interview, and I think your interview is with AI. I don't even think your interview is with a human. Can you help us? We want to do more. What is your specialty? I don't know. I'm making that up. But anyways, the bottom line is we may be training for outside our jobs, which means what job will you have for the future if you're training someone? And can you train them to not do the job well? This is the question here. 864-332-9355. 864-332-9355. Can we train them to not do the job as well? And would they figure out that we hadn't trained them to do the job as well? What do you think? I think that could be a very interesting aspect. How do you know you're being trained? How does AI know that they're being trained properly? Oh, okay. And so what exactly do we train them? But $250 an hour, I guess that's not bad. I think it is most interesting times. I know people have said that from time immemorial, from the time that, electricity was invented, or any of the other things that have pushed us forward. I don't know. The fact that when I go to check out of this world could be, it's already so different than when I was growing up, but it could be so much different. And it really brings up another question. How do you raise your kids to do a job? What kind of career can you say, oh, I think this would be a good one? I'm actually checking out whether I can help train radio hosts. I talked to somebody about it. They told me, Ann, your style of radio would not translate into what AI could do. I said, well, thank God I'm protected. What do you think about these things? Do you have any opinions about it? 864-332-9355. I think this is a fascinating topic for the future. Let's see, there's more about this. Many of the people we work with already see AI as inevitable in their field. But that doesn't mean humans will run out of meaningful work. Many of our experts see it as their responsibility to infuse their knowledge and expertise into the models to ensure accurate and thoughtful outcome. Applicants undergo an initial interview conducted by AI, and the company says a small percentage are required to share their screen to show their work. Once hired, workers must install time tracking software. That software ensures that contractors are working during billable hours and aren't cutting corners by using AI to critique the AI. Yeah, I like that. You got AI critiquing AI, which some have been caught doing. So, and then they give an example of a guy who was an automotive journalist for more than 20 years, was laid off in 2024. He spent months sending out resumes for full-time jobs to no avail. He finds freelance work inconsistent and doesn't make up for his past salary. Though he has saved for retirement, he'd rather not start dipping into it. The 61-year-old now spends 20 to 30 hours a week critiquing AI's attempts at writing news articles. He finds the work challenging and says it's had the pleasant side effect of improving his own writing. Well, so there's a positive side to it. The nature of the work does produce some internal conflict. This guy says journalists will always exist, but he thinks people appreciate ideas and writings from humans, but he worries AI could lead to more job losses. So, I didn't invent AI, and I'm not going to uninvent it, he says. If I were to stop doing this, would it stop? The answer is no. So, these are interesting times, and where AI. And, of course, they're talking about AI being able to do all the mundane jobs in your house, from cleaning, vacuuming, fixing meals, etc. I don't know. There you go. And would you have you tried ChatGPT? Have you seen any of the effects of how it can change what you're doing? I just would be curious if you have tried it. So 864-332-9355. We just had a text from Martha. Martha says, I don't want to try it. I don't want to have anything to do with it. I just want it to go away. Well, it's not going away, Martha, that's for sure. There are too many applications, and of course, and our country is running towards it because we actually are in a war with getting the most control of AI over China. So I don't think it's going away. It can enhance our lives, but we need to realize there is the human aspect, and I think no AI can take that on. So. But that, I thought, might give you something to think about. And, all right, so I also found another article very, I hate this word, interesting, very, what word can I use? Very appropriate. Job seekers find a new source of income. Okay, no, that's not it. This is the one I wanted right here. Oh, no, right here. What happened to happy hour? You know, one of the things, of course, it is dry January, and they talk about all the people who give up alcohol for January. They're saying that young people are not drinking as much, so alcohol consumption, happy hours used to be happy hour was where everybody went after work to hang out before they went home. But now people just go home. As people dial back their drinking and companies reel in the fun budget, the age-old ritual of getting a beer with colleagues is taking a hit. And It says there was this one student in Portland, Oregon, who knew she wanted to work for Adidas or Nike, not because she loved sneakers, but to immerse herself in their corporate culture, the epic holiday parties, the beautiful campuses, the happy hours. She said it's a very social company when she was hired in 2021. By then, though, the ground had shifted. The corporate lore she'd heard so much about had gone the way of in-person work. She spent most days logging in from her apartment, an experience her friends at other companies shared. And see, that's that working from home. People don't even actually get dressed to go out anymore. But it's, in terms of interacting socially in a professional way, we are stunted and we are very aware of it. She says happy hours were such a thing for that. And that is true. You got to see your boss maybe in a more casual, or your coworkers in a more casual atmosphere, a little bit more relaxed maybe than some of the uptightness that goes on in a job. It says we are stunted. And I think that's very true, because how many young people today do we see that have a problem with conversation? And that's because they were raised in the days of COVID. So I found this most interesting. They say it's had a big effect. It has had a big effect on bars. Of course, there is a move now towards mocktails, and they actually are trying to get people back together. It says, once a staple of professional life, happy hour is now a casualty of corporate cultural reset. Many people still aren't coming to the office. Those who do just want to get home by 6. Business budgets for mandatory fun have shrunk. Everyone's drinking less. These trend lines may be good for work-life balance, but the downside for some is profound. Young workers say they're missing out on opportunities to make friends and find mentors. Bar owners are hurting too. So, it says companies would come out with the boss who would throw their credit card down and everybody would be drinking throughout the evening. There's a lot less of that now. He said for some people, run clubs and other fitness activities have become a replacement for letting loose after work. So, these are things that, are they gone forever? I think that is one of the questions. And it is true. There are other clubs, and if you have children, when you get off work, you usually have somewhere to go to watch your child in some sport or activity, after school activity. So, but I think the happy hour was a good way, whether it was a drinking fest or whether it was a get-together. It was a good way to mingle with those from work, meet other people from other work environments, and I think that is a shame. That was a rite of passage. You didn't necessarily have to drink, but you did have to. It was a good way to have conversation. It says some companies have found that the way to gather colleagues over beer is to make the office the venue. They're doing more in-office type stuff. Every Wednesday or Thursday, his firm in New Jersey enjoys a full spread of drinks and snacks. Almost everyone hangs out for at least about an hour. So more of it is becoming internal within the business, which again takes away from the bars. And they say a lot of conversations just aren't going to happen at a lunch or in the workplace. So having this casual way to have conversation is a good thing. It says in some industries, happy hour is thriving. Publishing is such relationship-based business. So there you go. So they host happy hours and this type of thing. But have you noticed that people are the lack of happy hours or not? Or do you find that some of our places here, Flynn's, I think, is a good example of a place where a lot of people go after work. And then I think one of the things that I have noticed is that a lot of events that are held during the week where there are talks and everything, they do have they don't call it a happy hour, but they have an open bar, they have hors d'oeuvres, they have this type of thing, which is to let people have conversation. So just another interesting trend as we look at how our world has changed. All right, 864-332-9355. That's 864-332-9355. What do we have? I have some more information coming in. Somebody tells me, I liked happy hour. It was the best part of my day. Yeah, there you go. It was for a lot of people, and I think I can say this with my father. This was his way of bridging the time from work to happy hour to coming home. It was kind of that decompressed time, It wasn't so much about the drinking. It was more about talking to people and just having a little decompression time before you went home. So, just another aspect of our lives that is changing. Be interested to see whether happy hours come back, or is the internal happy hour having a bottle of wine with your boss after work? Is that what we're headed for? And a few hors d'oeuvres? Who knows? I do know that mock cocktails are becoming very, very popular, and I think that is terrific. Because you don't always want to have the alcohol, but you want to have the experience. All right. What else do we have here this morning? Yep, Fed chairman. When Trump is on your ass, you might as well just give it up. Because he is not going, I don't think he's going to make it till the end of his term. Maybe he will. But they are fast working to find something to get him out of the Fed chair so that Donald Trump can have things the way he wants it. How are you feeling about what is happening in our country? Do you feel good? Do you feel bad? Do you worry about what is the direction that we are going? We have to be concerned about the direction, right? The direction. Let's see, what else have we got here? Got some comments coming in. Okay. Yep, okay. Okay. Yep, Greenville did have a protest. Seneca had their protest yesterday. Someone just said, Chris just said, I do not like AI. Well, AI has its place. I think, though, we just have to, make sure that we use it appropriately. All right. Well, tomorrow, no afternoon show this afternoon, as is the standard. I do have another lesson with Penny this afternoon, so I'll let you know how she does. We've been working on this command place where she sits on a particular place, and then the question is, how long can she sit there before she decides she's had enough? I'm supposed to be in charge, but really it's Penny. So we'll see how that goes this afternoon. We'll see. Let's see if I got any more information about this. Let's see. Something came in across my news here this morning. Yes. Let me just check this out and see what we have. Okay. Well, I was just looking at the police report. We just got our Greenwood police report. We had officers answered 233 calls for service. So we'll see what we have here. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it is really a very short report. They had disorderly conduct, wanted person from Lexington County, an arrest warrant, trespassing after notice, threatening a public official. That doesn't look good. Some public drunks and some trespassing. That is from Friday, January 9th through Sunday, January 11th. Of course, this is the police report, not the county, not the sheriff. So other persons were made. We had one person for driving under suspension, one person for simple possession of marijuana, two persons for driving without a valid driver's license. Those people, other arrests were made, but the individuals were released on a courtesy summons. So that's about what we've got. I think I am going to wrap it up. I did want to share, are there any particular events that we want to make sure that we are aware of? We can look at that real quick. But I am going to say adieu very shortly here, very shortly. So let's see what we got here. Let's check that out. There are some good things coming up here in our community. So Tuesday, we're going to have Karen Petit and the regent, their regent here, Stephanie, will be with her. They'll be talking about the Charleston tea. They're talking about the Issaquena chapter tea. That one is going to be a good event. That's coming up, I believe, on the 24th, but we'll talk more about that with them. You know, the Tea Party, we always think about the Boston Tea Party, but in truth, the Tea Party right here in South Carolina was the first Tea Party, and we kept the tea and sold it so we could buy ammunition. So there are some other events out there. I do want to mention this. Pathway House, celebrating client success in 2025. 107 clients got a home. That may seem like, well, that's not a big deal. That is a big deal. This is people that really were homeless and went from homeless to getting a home, a job, and taking care of their family. That is a huge, huge plus. Also, coming up in January, in the spring, they're going to have cooking classes out there at, they're through Piedmont Tech, but they're actually at the G. Frank Russell Technology Center at their kitchens there. They have a great kitchen there, and Chef Hancock will be teaching these classes right there at his kitchen, and that'll be at the G. Frank Russell Technology Center. Everything from basic desserts to a cooking with love, a couples class, and a Mediterranean and lighter fare class. Those are all coming up, starting January 24th and forward. So make sure you check that out. Evidently, the Pause and Play Puppies and Yoga was pretty successful at the Humane Society. They do have another one scheduled. I think that's coming up, if I remember, the 24th of January, but we'll have more information on that. And out there at the Fiddle and Bow, don't forget, Linda Gale Lewis is the sister of the late, great Jerry Lee Lewis, is coming to the Fiddle and Bow, February 21st. So that's over a month away, but just you might want to get your tickets. That should be very, very, very popular. So that's a few of the things that are going on. Property taxes are due January 15th. That is this Thursday. Remember, if you don't want to have any penalties, you need to get your taxes in. They can be paid in person, by mail, or online. If you have tax payment questions, please call 864-942-8525. That's 864-942-8525. Make sure if you are mailing your payment to take it inside the post office and have it hand stamped, so that the postmark will be the postmark, because the post office no longer takes any responsibility for postmarking it when you drop it in the box. That is official. So if you want it postmarked for the 15th, make sure that you are putting it in the hands of somebody so they can postmark it, so you will not get any penalties. Those are just some of the things that I know. What? This is something I didn't know. Let's see this out. Okay, Elon Musk. You know, he's the one that bought Twitter. Users who looked for the Twitter handle on Sunday were greeted with a bold notification saying account suspended. The handle was suspended for violating X's rules, according to the notification, and a link to the rules was included. The notification did not mention which rule in particular was broken, and a representative for X did not immediately respond to this news source's request for comment. Musk did not mention this suspension on his personal account either. Okay, so yes, Musk explained the name change in 23, saying Twitter's name made sense when it was just 140 characters, but now you can post most anything. So yes, all right. Well, anyways, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Anyways, Elon Musk, always making things interesting. By the way, don't forget, tonight is the meeting for what? For the Republican Club. That will be at, I believe it's at 6 o'clock. And they will be having a candidate for... first meeting of the year will be January 12th at 6 p.m. at the Greenwood County Courthouse. And our speaker is South Carolina GOP Senator Stephen Goldfinch. He is running for Attorney General. Okay, so that is who will be there this evening. This is a good way, and all are invited to attend. Again, this is at the courthouse. It is at 6 p.m. He is running. It's a great way to learn more about some of the candidates, whether they're Republican or Democrat. Whether Republican or Democrat, the Democrats are doing some of the same stuff, getting their candidates out there. So this evening's meeting is at 6 p.m. Senator Stephen Goldfinch will be the speaker. He's running for Attorney General. That, my friends, is going to do it for me today. I hope you have a good day. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow morning. And don't forget, coming up tomorrow afternoon, we'll be talking tea in the 5 o'clock hour. That's on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we will have Carrie Hoffman here. She is the president and CEO of Greenwood Promise. And on Thursday, we've got a comedian that's going to be joining us. Details to follow right here on WCRS. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, you can always let me know what you think of what we're doing right here on WCRS. Tip me off to a news tip and keep me in the loop, 864-332-9355. You can always go back and watch our shows, whether it's on Facebook or on the website WCRS1450am.net. So, without further ado, let's take it away. Penny goes, yeah, I need my breakfast. Hurry up here. I hope you have a great day. Thanks for tuning in today. Bye-bye.